What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we're gonna go over my Platinum Arena reset from today. We're gonna have a look at what mistakes I did. We're gonna try to learn from them. And of course, I'm gonna share with you guys a few tips here and there. I'm gonna share builds with you at the end of the video if you're curious to see how my champions are looking, at least some of them that I actually used. Plus, we have a surprise champion in the mix. Actually, super powerful against Taras, and I'm gonna explain you pretty much everything that you need to know about that. That being said, let's jump over and have a look at the reset. So I managed to record in a different format, so you don't get to see my massive background because I hate playing the game on full screen. I am curious how many of you guys are actually playing on PC and play the game on full screen. Like, I'm so curious about that. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm lucky enough to have the couple as well, but I gotta say, was such a fun reset. Marichka, Taras everywhere was pretty intense, was very different from the other resets because quite a few people started pushing earlier than usual, so was very fun, you know. That being said, let's jump into it. So we have our first team right here. I had to change all my presets, of course. Sifi, Rotos, Marichka, Taras. They're pretty fun to use, honestly. They're not as reliable against every team, but I said, you know what, let me give it a go against this team like this. And yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna be a pretty long fight. Yumeko, Kaimar constantly resetting each other, you know, is a pretty nasty thing that's happening with them. And it's taking a bit of time because the enemies are constantly nuking us. You see what's happening there? They're just going crazy every time they take a turn. So they're locking my skills. That kind of like makes it a bit slower, you know. So we're taking that Yumeko down. We're going for Kaimar, so we stop that madness. We don't want to see more rotations like this anymore because they're pretty annoying. Now I know my Sifi, she's fairly fast, so I'm gonna be able to recover. That's why I'm not backing out of the fight. Revive Marichka, then in case if somebody else dies, Marichka is gonna revive everybody, you know. We passed the 1 minute mark, unfortunately, here, but we're still gonna take that Taras down, you know. Not a problem in here. Extra turn, those two champions revived. So 1 minute and 13 seconds, we got them in like that. We're gonna have to refresh quite a bit, man. Like, I gotta say, I changed some of the builds, so I'm trying to stay away from Uko teams. You know, a lot of people, they have Uko very fast, and so much RNG with those teams is just unbelievable. So we're going against this team, Duchess, Nakret, Rotos, and we have Pythian. I love Warlord and I hate Warlord at the same time. This turn meter decrease is just so freaking annoying because of reaction. That's why I want Yumeko so bad. Like, she's just so efficient against so many different teams. You see, bang, we hear a bit of reaction in there as well. If we were hitting that, we would have had a much better chance at knocking him down, you know. He had a bit of HP left in there, that Rotos. And yeah, Baron is still a beast. He's still gonna do a very amazing job. This again is not a super fast run on this team, unfortunately. I feel like my offense was not really on point today, guys. I gotta admit it. My offense was pretty trash because most of the fights that I've done, they kind of took a bit over 1 minute or at around the 1 minute mark, and it's definitely not very good when you're getting there, you know. I feel like, yeah, not that great. I'm not playing it on auto all the time because for some reason, not these particular champions, but some of them, they just don't seem to want to use the skills even though I'm putting the preset, you know. And sometimes, because the speeds are so different, some are fast, some are slow, I kind of like forget which one is about to take the turn, and I just don't want to do the wrong move in there. So we're checking a bit the defense. We got a few wins in there, which is good, but if you're having a quick look right here, you see it's actually pretty disgusting, you know. We're going against this Uko team with Harima. Harima, she's such a beast of a champion. I know after they released Harima, a lot of you guys were like, well, Harima, she was just a bait, nobody's really using her. Man, Harima, she's very powerful. Like, she's really tanking up for your team. So you see, Uko just stole our increased attack, stole our block debuffs from Baron. Now he has decreased attack, which is definitely very annoying. We hit reaction on that Duchess because she seems to be super slow. One thing when you're attacking teams like this, you want to make sure you're covering for Uko. So you're using the speed lead, right? And this is kind of like the effect of it, because you're gonna end up hearing in a reaction. I just still try to use the A3 in the hope that, you know what, I'm gonna be able to take it down maybe. Look at those stuns. I should have some resistance on my Duchess, but I'm not really going against Uko teams anymore, you know? So I'm trying to make her tankier, my offense Duchess, you know, and kind of like go from there. But Uko is a very, very annoying champion. I gotta say it. The RNG on the passive, and I remember it. A lot of people were disappointed with Uko, you know. Unfortunately, some high resistance champions out there, sometimes you're getting locked on them. Doesn't happen all the time, but every now and then it does happen. You see, we passed the 1 minute and 20 seconds mark, and you know why? It's all because of freaking Uko. The RNG that Uko brings is just crazy. Still your increased attack, land the decreased attack, still your block debuffs, so then you can get stunned. So 1 minute and 30 seconds, definitely not a very good fight right there. I think we might go against Smiling here if I remember it correctly, and I'm gonna share with you guys a nice strategy. Inquisitor Shamael for Platinum Arena. Who would have thought that we're gonna see that day again? Like when they released him, yeah, he was very powerful. Basically, he has the passive that removes the fear. I don't have a Yumeko. I gotta find a different way to do it. So like this, he's gonna give Thermitter to the lead as well. Sometimes I'm using Warlord in the lead instead of Duchess, and like that I get to lock them, which is definitely pretty good. Inquisitor Shamael is extremely powerful. At least for my account, I have 3 different presets with him. I have 2 of them built, one faster, one slower, and they absolutely melt, okay? So if you're hitting a Marichka, even if Harima is on the same team, it doesn't matter. He's gonna take that Marichka down. Or with Taras is a bit different because of his passive, but he's still hitting super hard. So yeah, guys, if you haven't built an Inquisitor Shamael for Arena and you have a Warlord, you don't have a Yumeko, and you're kind of like trying to go against the teams like this, Inquisitor Shamael is actually an absolute beast. This is kind of like one of the best solutions at the moment. It's hard to bring in a cleanser in the team, you know, so that makes it pretty rough. We got that team down in a decent time. 1 minute was not too bad, honestly. And right here, we don't need to have Inquisitor Shamael anymore. And here, I'm actually gonna try and use Bloodgorged. So I'm looking for him. I didn't saw it, you know, kind of like the panic mode, like where are my champions, what's happening? But then we brought it on. I have a 3-star blessing for him, and I had a lot of copies, so I decided to empower him and see if he's gonna be able to work against them. Against Taras is definitely not doing a lot of work, but against Marichka, you can definitely one-shot her Marichka, put her to sleep, pretty much doesn't matter what the team is. If she is protected by Nacret, of course, is a different type of story, but that A3 actually is just gonna melt, and guess what? It blocks revive. And I'm gonna share with you guys the builds at the end of the video to see kind of like how I build the champions. With Inquisitor Shamael, there are quite a few things that you want to be aware of, so I'm gonna walk you through that as well. We had to let them take more turns to drop the stone skin from Marichka, and now, bang! Decapitate, 205k hit, Marichka dead, and from here on, it's pretty much game over, you know? So, Bloodgorge can work against it. Pretty nice, actually. I like him against Marichka because he blocks the revive. Royal Huntsman hits harder, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't block revive, you know? So, that's one thing to keep in mind. Reset again, look at that. Marichka, Taras, Marichka, Marichka, Taras, Marichka, double Taras, double Marichkas. It's just absolutely nuts, guys. We have 5 minutes left, and I gotta say, I had to refresh quite a few times in order to be able to pick some teams that, yeah, they don't look like they bring so much RNG. There are some teams with Marichka, Taras. I can win against some of them 20 to 30 seconds, okay, with the Shamael strat. But the problem is they have a lot of RNG. If I'm not depleting the Thermitter on a Siphi, she can sleep my Baron. That's gonna slow me down, and they're gonna rotate so fast that in the end you're gonna lose the fight. If everything goes good, they're a super quick farm. But if the RNG is not on your side, you have a very high chance at losing. So again, I try to stay away from those teams, Sifi, Marichka, and Taras. Now, if I would have a Yumeko, that would be a completely different story, because I would be able to go in with Baron and Georgid and just completely obliterate them. But unfortunately, I don't. So we're gonna have to go like this, you know. Shamael, Warlord, they're still doing a powerful job against many teams. So I'm still pretty happy with that, you know. Look at that. Bang. Strength, and what's that? I've never heard of it. And it's pretty much game over for them. Marichka, take the rest of the team down and then focus on Taras, and game over, baby. Yeah, it does take a bit longer from here, just because he decided to kill both of my nukers. So we're gonna have to recover a bit, revive, and then slowly kill him. The fights are definitely increasing in time. I feel like you're gonna be extremely lucky to find some teams that you can farm super, super fast, you know. 100%. It's definitely quite a bit of a difference, you know. 1 minute and 12 seconds. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it, considering that was the very first reset and all the big boys brought all their new toys out to play, you know. Right here, I've done a massive mistake. So my mistake was that I brought Georgid in here again instead of going with Baron. I had no idea that Ultimate Dead Knight is not gonna be on Stone Skin, and yeah, it just kind of happened like that, you know. And I said, you know what, let me bring Georgid, I'm gonna be able to kind of like rack them. But unfortunately, it's just not happening, because his passive didn't proc. That's the RNG with Georgid. I wish his passive would be ignores 25% of the defense all the time, you know. That would make him actually more reliable. He won't hit as hard, but it will make him more reliable. So basically, you know what you're gonna get like this. If the passive doesn't proc, the Helm Smasher doesn't proc, ooh, you're in a bit of a pickle in there, you know. So that's kind of like what happened to me right here, because I haven't managed to one-shot that Duchess, you know. If the passive was proccing, it was gonna be definitely different, you know. I cannot attack Taras teams without having Shamael in my team, unfortunately, because I'm getting feared. Is RNG on my Warlord. Sometimes I can overlap the Taras, it's not a problem, and don't worry about Shamael. But other times I cannot do it, you know. So if it's a slower team, like even this, probably I was able to overlap that Taras, and even if he was fearing me and my skill was not proccing, I was going to be able to take a turn before and lock the team again. The only problem is that maybe a Duchess or a Necrot was going to protect a different champion. Duchess, maybe she was going to Veil, and everything was going to get a bit more out of control in there. 50 seconds left, guys. I'm still trying to look for a different team. Not many that can be farmed in 50 seconds. So I'm like, you know what? It's no point for me to try to do another fight. I'm just gonna stay and just take screenshots of the top 20, top 50, whatever, and post them in my Discord. I'm doing that every week. If you're curious to see what defenses are the people keeping and stuff like that. So I decided to just hang in here. Just admire the Ukrainian couple being pretty much everywhere, you know. Because yeah, it's actually pretty pretty fun. Well, it was an interesting one, though. I gotta admit, it was an interesting one. 9 seconds left. Once we reach at 0 seconds, I'm gonna click on the top players. We're gonna see who won, actually, and then we're gonna be able to kind of like pick up the rest. If I don't get to do another fight, I'm gonna do that all the time. So how you guys can see right here, Zeus actually won. If I'm not mistaken, he actually won it last week or 2 weeks ago. So big GGs to him. Awesome stuff. And guess what? He only had one of the couple champions, which is Marichka. You see, they are 2-3 people in top 20 that don't have the couple, honestly, or they have only one of the couple champions in there. And yeah, it's a big chance that maybe they either got lucky, they had an amazing defense and they had a good RNG on it, or their offense was really spot on. Which, how you guys notice, my offense was really not spot on. We haven't done many fights. They took pretty long. I wasted quite a bit of time in between refreshes and stuff like that. So that's a thing that I definitely need to improve on my end, you know. And right here, what we are, we're actually gonna check where we placed. Then we're gonna share some builds, guys. And we got number 14. I mean, considering how we've done in offense, I feel like it's definitely a pretty good placement. Definitely not complaining about that. The first week of Marichka Taras Mayhem was an interesting one, you know. If you did Platinum Arena today, let me know how much fun you actually had, you know. We're gonna have a look at the defense. So you see the defense actually did pretty good. Luckily, this guy won the fight after the reset. That's why I lost 20 points in there. And we actually got quite a few wins. Now, we haven't got any in the last 5 minutes or so, but we actually did pretty well with the defense. And yeah, we got some wins, we got some losses. You see Phoenix right here. Yeah, he blocks revive with the A1. If you really want him to hit harder and stuff, you need to have a double to have debuff, so he gets a double hit. That's not really gonna happen. I'm pretty convinced that that team was very slow. Yeah, maybe he was locking me with Yumeko most probably, but I'm sure it wasn't too fast because I haven't seen that that Phoenix again in my defense lock. The attack right here, guys, you see, definitely not that great. We only managed to do like 8 or 9 fights in the last 18 minutes or so. A big break in between, a lot of refreshes to pick something decent. That's not a lot of RNG. How I mentioned, I'm always telling you guys, try to stay away from RNG, you know. So you might be able to win that fight fast, but if you're losing it, you're dropping points. So just try to go for safety, or if you like to kind of like gamble even more, go for it, you know, just go for it. Talking about some of the builds, Inquisitor Shamael, yeah, you haven't seen him shine to his true potential in today's reset, but I can guarantee you we're gonna do better in the next reset with Inquisitor Shamael. So let me quickly share a couple of builds. Bloodgorge is a +4. He does have a +3 awakening. He will have pretty sick stats. You see, I haven't built him in Savage. With the A3, if you're not familiar, he ignores defense, and enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. Very important. And the rest of the skills are not bad. AoE puts one of each target skills on cooldown. It can be helpful if you have some accuracy. Funny enough, I do have some accuracy because he's empowered. And of course, I have my max Great Hall. Now, I have a double crit damage and I have 1 accuracy set. I could have went with a different helmet instead. But the reason why I use the accuracy set is mainly because of these disgusting gloves. You see, all the gear is ascended. Very important to kind of try and ascend your gear. You're finding something good, use that. Luckily, he doesn't need Savage, so that's why I kind of like gave him these sets. But look at this. It's like another chest piece on him. Quad attack, and then I have a attack on it as an Ascension. So beautiful piece. Definitely need to use it on some champion. Doesn't matter on who, but I gotta use it on somebody. The chest piece, you see, I rolled a lot of pieces to get the attack. I don't have that many on Savage, unfortunately. So yeah, that's kind of like where we are with Bloodgorged. 8.7k attack, 158 speed, 101 crit rate, 361 crit damage. Pretty disgusting because the mastery as well on him is not Helm Smasher. It's actually Flawless Execution, so you're getting 20% more crit damage from here. So that's a pretty nasty build on Bloodgorge, but not Savage. I wish I would have this sort of builds on Savage. Man, I would be so freaking happy. Moving over to the next champion that we used in here. Baron. Probably you've seen Baron multiple times. He's pretty nasty. 9.2k attack, 320 crit damage. So can't really complain about the build on him. He is with Helm Smasher as tier 6, slightly different masteries. Then moving over to the next champion, it's gonna be most probably Georgid. Let's see. And where is he hiding? Mr. Georgid, not empowered, not awakened. Hopefully one day. You've seen Ronda quite a few times as well in previous videos, guys. So there we are. Savage, cruel. I actually had to slow her down to try to avoid hitting the reaction on Rotos. Let him take his first turn, hit my Stone Skin Duchess, and then go and wreck him with Ronda. That's another tip for you guys. When you're attacking, you don't need your Ronda fast. You don't need to go before Rotos. You want to go after. Then we have Georgie the Breaker, Savage and Cruel. Unfortunately, yeah, my Ascension didn't hit great on chest pieces, didn't hit great on boots, so I can't make him better than this at the moment. 7.9k attack, 143 speed, 101 crit rate, 287 crit damage. Not empowered, not awakened, so I'm definitely looking forward to some of those things to drop on him. Offense, defense, Helm Smasher as tier 6, and let me show you the superstar of the show, guys. So Inquisitor Shamael. I have him built on Stone Skin. You want to have him on Stone Skin because when he's gonna kill Marichka, if that's what you're aiming to do, Taras is gonna counterattack. He's gonna hit the Stone Skin. Sometimes he might break it, sometimes he might not, but he's not gonna kill Shamael. He's still gonna be alive. That's why you want him on Stone Skin. If he has enough buffs, he's gonna ignore the defense. So you're gonna get a buff directly from having the Stone Skin. You're gonna get increased attack and other buffs from your other champions. And then attacks one enemy 3 times, will ignore 25% of the target's defense and 25% extra for each buff. So you have 3 buffs, 100% ignore defense on the champion, which is definitely pretty good. I have Phantom Touch on him. Pretty hard to kind of like justify what other blessing you would take. If I would have a higher awakening, most probably I would go for Crushing Rend just to help with the A1, and in case if every now and then I don't have enough buffs for the A2 if I'm going in a longer fight, you know. In terms of masteries, Helm Smasher as tier 6, that's to help with the A1, and how I mentioned, if by any chance I won't have enough buffs if I'm engaging in a longer fight. And in terms of stats, you see again I went for Ascension. So I ascended these, I got attack, that's what I wanted to see. His base attack is pretty low. I still managed to get him to over 7k attack, which is great. And I have the blessing, which is giving me 400 attack, massive. Unfortunately, we cannot empower them. 7.1k attack, 111 speed, full crit rate, 299 crit damage. So that's one Shamael. Then I have another Shamael, because why not? I like having Shamaels. So I have another one on Stone Skin, broken stats. Again, I had to go for Ascension to get the most out of the stats. A crit damage set would have been amazing, but hey, my Ascension didn't hit on that as well. You see, the boots didn't hit either, but I don't really have any better options in here. Total stats, 6.5k attack, 160 speed, 292 crit damage, full crit. I have one that goes after Baron and let Baron rotate again. I have one that goes before Baron. That's for speed, for faster fights. And this is kind of like one thing that works very successful against the teams that do bring some RNG. But again, it's mainly because Termiter from Warlord and other things that can happen. But is a pretty good win rate. I just don't want to risk it during a reset. Masteries pretty much... Oh, actually I have wrong masteries on this champion and I had no idea, but he's still doing the job. You know what? I gotta change the masteries, give him identical masteries like the other Shamael. Guys, that was all for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a couple of new tips on how to fight Marichka and Taras. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Appreciate all of you guys watching and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.